Raceroom's future, our future, your future, right here, right now. Greetings, Romy. You're watching Rom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing and a regular news roundup or weekly sim racing news. Thanks to all those who come here often, especially those who subscribe, and even more, our patrons. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. How did you like our 10,000 sub celebrations theme yesterday? We had a blast, even if we had some technical issues with Discord and wheels and whatnot. It sure was fun to crash and to have our first Rum Wreckfest championship winner in Cyber. A championship we didn't know we were having until yesterday when Cody and Cyber raced and crashed to their heart's content until one was able to snatch victory from the other's jaws. In any case, this was big fun and a great way to celebrate getting up to 10,000 subs. Thank you to all those of you who are part of this family in one way or the other. The future looks bright with a race stream tonight, hopefully a review this week, our news, the Raceroom update review, our podcast, the Sim Racing Expo, the Sim Formula Europe, maybe even the Chicago Sim Racing Expo next year. Who knows? We are working on many things at any given time. Some of them become something new, some of them simmer quietly, some of them never come to fruition. Hey, that's life. This week, 6 months of work by the Raceroom team did come to fruition in the announcement of their big update, and we also have a lot of short news waiting for you to learn now. You never know for sure with Ian Bell, as he likes to throw smoke bombs, but if this tweet is anything to go by, it seems Project Motor Racing is being developed using the Giant engine, which is the same engine used for the farming simulators. If the info is true, this would be about the third game engine they are developing for, with or around. I sure hope the algorithms don't have to change too much, because if they do, that would have been an incredible waste of time and money. If you happen to drive Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PS5, their DLCs are at 50% at the moment. Thrustmaster is releasing a new set of pedals sometime soon. These are metal pedals, as you can see. You can adjust the incline and change a lot of things. No date, price or much more information has been delivered. But does this look like real images to you or like computer graphics? Because it sure looks like computer graphics to me. Rennsport brought Jeddah for free to the sim. We are of differing opinions about Jeddah here at Rum, but we know Jeddah has some fans out there, so there's that. There's a saying about trying to get the most juice of an old lemon, which I personally have always preferred to the horrifying image of beating a dead horse, and we think this is what motorsport games are doing with R Factor 2, as starting yesterday they are having a daily deal with a lot of content reduced by up to 80%. Now, I'm not saying R Factor 2's bad by any means, and the tons of good mods will keep it alive for a long time. See what mod makers have done to the longevity of Assetto Corsa. But when was the last time there was a significant update to RF2's code? When do you expect the next one to be? The follow-up game to the massively successful SnowRunner may be around the corner with Roadcraft, which takes the theme of improving something that's broken but now lets you do more than just drive trucks. After the meh experience of Expeditions, this may be the game that takes the mantle of SnowRunner, or not. We'll have to wait and test and see. Of course, the big news this week was Raceroom's update scheduled for the 4th of September, which will bring a lot of goodies. We don't have the release notes, of course, because they won't be released before the 4th, but we can tell you what their plans are. By the way, yes, you are seeing images of some of our tests with the new content. There's going to be one content drop on the 4th that will be all about DTM 1995 with the Opel Calibra V6 and the Alfa Romeo 155. These cars are emulated using as much information as the ADAC could find about them, including homologation information they had in their archives, and they are of course joining the Mercedes that was in Raceroom already. Also the famous or infamous Avus street track, as well as the Diepholz airport track and the Hockenheim ring in the historically accurate configuration, will be released on that day. This to celebrate 40 years of DTM, once one of the greatest racing series in the world, now another has been bland GT3 series. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Together with that content, they are releasing a big graphics update that is meant to be game-changing, pun intended. Of course, we have a video prepared for the 4th or thereabouts telling you about our impressions with the update, so you better subscribe right away. Especially if you belong to the 60 or so % who watch but are not subscribed. You're here every week anyway, what are you waiting for? Because the Raceroom engine is quite old, as we all know, updating the graphics was not straightforward. Nobody from the old team that programmed those graphics is still on board, and the code had to be rediscovered and understood by the new team. As somebody from the trade, I can say that 6 months to understand the old code and refurbish it to the new specifications is an expected time frame, and it for sure was hard work. Expect us to go more in depth about it in our video around the release date. Also expect further graphics updates in the future now that they have an up-to-date code basis. If you're interested in the technicalities of how the update was made, take a look at the link below in our description to the interview with the main developer who goes into very interesting details for those of us who love to geek out on these things. And KW Studios is looking for a senior developer to add new things like driver swaps, day and night cycles, and so much more. Added to the graphics update, Raceroom will be releasing a sound engine update that will take into account the position of the viewer, or in this case rather listener, respective to the car, so when the car is coming towards you, you'll rather hear the motor, and when it's driving away from you, you'll rather hear the exhaust. Clever. Speaking of updates to existing things, a lot of tracks have been updated to keep them going with the times, as Mantorp, Nogaro, Nordschleife, Oschersleben, Red Bull Ring, Sepang and Slovakia Ring were updated. Especially Oschersleben has been laser scanned with the help of drones and updated thoroughly. Contrary to the other tracks, Oschersleben will cost you something, as Raceroom considers this a complete new track based on the massive improvements. On a later date, only specified as in the next 8 weeks, we'll also see the DTM Pack 2024 arriving, with the Lamborghini GT3 Evo 2 and the McLaren 720S coming new to the sim. And yes, they are nice to drive, but they are just some GT3 cars, and we have more than enough of those in any sim, so forgive me if I'm not as excited as others are. And move over Assetto Corsa, as Raceroom is going to expand the small bit of drifting they already had in there. It seems they are testing the waters with it after they were contacted by Red Bull Drifting in 2022. They seem to be thinking about introducing drifting in full within the sim, but for now it will be more of a sandbox experiment. Considering the enhanced physics and force feedback of Raceroom compared with Assetto Corsa, it may be a game changer for them. Pun again intended. Of course, the main difference being that Assetto Corsa allows for mods and Raceroom doesn't, and there are a lot of mods for drifting for Assetto Corsa. They also promise to have a drifting setup at the Sim Racing Expo, so we'll take a look at that for sure. All you drift fans, I think it's time for you all to start telling the Raceroom developers what your favorite cars and tracks are. Maybe they'll also start adding some toge racing? Dirt racing? A girl can dream.